Arsenal have absolutely smashed Sheffield United 6-0. What a massive victory for Mikel Arteta. He keeps the pressure up in the Premier League title race. No Premier League campaign has ever seen three sides achieve this amount of points this early in the season. We are seeing one of the great contests ever in the Premier League. Arsenal are absolutely fantastic. They're one of the best sides in Europe and they're currently third. Obviously, they've got a huge opportunity to beat Man City at the end of March. And they're doing all they can do. They're scoring so many goals. Up until the second half, they've made it 8 halves of football in a row, scoring 2 or more goals consecutively. That's absolutely ridiculous. This Arsenal side are free-flowing. They've got so much confidence that they've got an unbelievable kind of chance with the likes of Partey coming back to full fitness as well, which is absolutely huge for Arsenal. They look like a side. They look like Premier League champions. There have been sides in years that have come third, come second, and they kind of scrape third. I'm thinking of Tottenham or some of the Man United sides of recent years. If this Arsenal side come third, they'll come third as a side good enough to have won the Premier League. That's how good the league is this season. Absolutely outrageous. We're going to break down how Arsenal decimated Sheffield United in this video. Make sure you subscribe. Would mean a lot if you did. And obviously make sure you like the video. If you think Arsenal are going to win the Premier League, let me know in the comments down below. They have to make up ground somewhere because they can't play Liverpool. They beat them obviously in the league. And they've got Man City, which is an absolutely huge game. Let's just start off with the goals. Firstly, the smallest comment on Sheffield United. An absolute embarrassment to Premier League football. Let's start off with the first goal. Obviously, it gets cut across to Martin Odegaard from pretty basic play into play, I think, between Jorginho. It goes kind of into Saka and there's a kind of cutback. Odegaard, easy finish. He was absolutely superb tonight. And sometimes there'll be people that are massive Odegaard fans. I've never been early on the Odegaard hype train. Never was. But this performance was absolutely surreal. The way he was dictating play and getting that goal early eases all the nerves, eases all the pressure. It was only Sheffield United, but they had to score the first goal, Arsenal, and get the game going, and they did it very, very early. Their intensity, their energy in the first half of football today, scoring 5 in 45 minutes of Premier League football is outrageous. It really is. The Bogle own goal, that for me was the moment where I was like, this is absolutely embarrassing. The way Saka turned Sheffield United's left back inside and out. I think was it Trusty at left back? Either way, Bogle has to come across and it's an own goal. Saka was absolutely electric today. He decimated Sheffield United. At points, honestly, it was shocking. You couldn't imagine this side in the Championship, let alone the Premier League. And it's amazing they even got promoted, really. I mean, Arsenal made an absolute fool of Sheffield United. And the second goal was so poor on so many levels. But again, Arsenal are so dynamic. This front three are really clicking into gear. Saka's numbers in the last few weeks have been absolutely electric. And the amount of times he's directly creating goal involvements for Arsenal is absolutely superb. There's a lot of balance between Martinelli, Havertz and Bukayo Saka. I think Havertz was electric today. His first touch was superb. He looks like that player we thought he was at Bayer Leverkusen. Smooth operator. Great kind of total footballer. I use that phrase a lot on this channel, but you know, football's littered now with players that can do a lot of things to a high level and aren't really masters of any one thing. And Kai Havertz is now becoming that kind of playmaker, that kind of false nine, drops into space, creates issues for defenders. And we saw it with his goal that made it 4-0. We'll talk about Martinelli's finish in a minute, deflected, but the Kai Havertz finish was really great on his left foot, powerful drive below Gribic, who's a new sign for Sheffield United. He's walked into an absolute hellhole of a situation. He must be wondering, how have I left Madrid for Sheffield, with all due respect. But yeah, look, Martinelli scored. There will be an interesting narrative around Martinelli. If you're going to get injured, it's not bad to get injured ahead of the final international break going into the Euros. Obviously, March gives us, 2 weeks, I think it is, without Premier League football. Martinelli got injured in the second half. There might be criticism from certain parts of the Arsenal fan base that would say, why was he playing so far into the second half? I think I'd be a little bit harsh because I think it was You know, you can't take everyone off, and Arteta made a triple substitution in his own right anyway, with Partey and Cedric Suarez coming on. So yeah, Martinelli scores. Declan Rice was absolutely superb in that first half. The way he dictates play, he looks so much more calm and composed with Jorginho alongside him. Again, a lot of these observations are made with the kind of understanding that it's against Sheffield United, but Jorginho popping things into Declan Rice, doing things first time into Odegaard. That midfield is quickly becoming one of the best in the league. Obviously, you know, behind Man City, I'd still put Man City ahead of them, but this Arsenal midfield is right up there in terms of composure, in terms of control, dictating things. And Declan Rice getting a goal, really big for him. He's popped up with a few more goals. A big thing for Declan Rice, he obviously said when he joined Arsenal for a lot of money, and I had this kind of criticism of him, that he was someone that played the ball sideways a lot at West Ham. That's probably all he could do, some of the limited players he was playing with. But now he's popping into the box. He's always got a finish on him. He's a great finisher of the ball. And you could easily see him scoring 15 goals a season for Arsenal if they get that defensive midfielder role sorted long term. At the moment, I actually think Jorginho is a starter in every big game. I think he'll start at the Etihad, I really do. But Thomas Partey coming back is huge for Arsenal. I think Arsenal, if they can get Thomas Partey, Declan Rice and Odegaard playing together for 8 games, let's just say they play 8 games in a row in the Premier League. Let's discount what happens in the Champions League. That can be up and down, a bit volatile. It's a cup competition, of course. The Premier League, if they can get 8 games going, those 3, that is one of the best midfields in Europe by a country mile. Then you've got Jorginho that can come in and control things as well. It's absolutely electric. It really is powerful. And Partey came on today. Looks a little bit off the pace, a little bit rusty. But if you're going to play him against Sheffield United, so you can relearn the ropes a little bit. But that midfield for Arsenal looks scary, scary good. Ben White pops up with a goal on his left foot. He laced it. The technique was absolutely beautiful. Ben White was absolutely superb tonight. He overlaps more than he used to. He's becoming more of a naturalised right back. You can see he's growing in confidence. He doesn't need much confidence as a footballer, Ben White. He's a very naturally gifted footballer. Very, very smart, very aggressive, works hard. He's cool, he's collected. I don't think he's a very emotional player. Obviously, there's always a narrative around him about how much he actually likes football, and sometimes that might be to the benefit that you don't like football that much, where you just treat it as a job, be very professional with it. Very, very professional performance. He has to be going to the Euros for England. There aren't many better right backs than him. He really is. Again, obviously the top 3 are the top 3 for the reason, the 3 best sides in the league, but he's at least top 2 right backs in the league. I think he'd go and make any side better defensively, and he's so good on the ball as well. He can pop into midfield, dictate play. We've seen him in midfield, we've seen him at centre back as well. What an option Arsenal have. He's so underrated, Ben White. I think it's unbelievable. And the goal on his left foot was superb. The technique. The keeper should do a little bit better, but maybe that's being harsh because the strike was pure. Let's just talk about all the Arsenal players today. But an overview, and if you watch this far, make sure you subscribe. I've done a video today talking about Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola, so make sure you check that out. But Arsenal today were so good. It was electric. They look like a side that are hungry. They look like a side that they've dropped off about 5 points compared to this point last season. But I'd rather be this Arsenal side with the experience of losing, the experience of what it feels like to lose a Premier League title after 247 days. That's not a joke anymore. It is a huge loss in Premier League history to not win the title. And that hurt. I think you can see it. I'd rather be this Arsenal side with 5 points less than a side with maybe less experience, less nous, and a bit more naivety. This Arsenal side have got less points but far more confidence, far more momentum. And with the likes of Thomas Partey coming back, hopefully for Arsenal's sake that Martinelli isn't injured as well. Gabriel Jesus made a cameo today as well. So this Arsenal side are ticking along really nicely in terms of injuries. Nowhere near as bad as Liverpool. And City have actually got pretty good record with injuries at the moment as well as we approach the crunch point in the season. The 2 centre-backs today didn't do anything. I didn't see them do a single thing, which probably talks more about Ollie McBurney and his small shin pads. Kyrgios is actually having an underrated few weeks. I think he's actually been really decent at left back. I definitely think he offers more defensively than Zinchenko. I really do. Obviously, a football purist, an Arsenal fan will say, look, Zinchenko's so good on the ball. He links up play fantastically well. But there'll be games where I think Kirill might start at the Etihad more than Zinchenko does for certain reasons. Especially away from home, Zinchenko can get found out. We saw that at Anfield multiple times already since he joined the club. The midfield, again, is so good. If Odegaard, Jorginho and Rice can stay fit and stay connected together and kind of develop this blossoming relationship, Jorginho in particular, absolutely amazing. But I've talked about Saka and Martinelli, but Kai Havertz really is developing into a role. He's developing into a real leader in this side in terms of you can fire balls up and he will control them. There's a lovely moment before the Ben White goal where he touched it down out of the air. Amazing. And he links up play. He is someone that you can begin to trust with the ball at his feet. In the first part of the season, the reason I slagged him off so much is because for £60 million and a cumulative fee of over £150 million from Chelsea to Arsenal combined, this is a guy that didn't demonstrate good confidence with his first touch, didn't demonstrate good physicality, but now I think he's understanding the rhythm of the Premier League. I think he's understanding, a bit like when he was at Bayer Leverkusen, he figured out how to find half space, figured out how to get between centre-backs and full-backs and in between midfielders and centre-backs, that little space that goes, kind of around the back four of the opposition. He's popping into those spaces and being far more effective, far more deadly in doing those things. So this Arsenal side are really clicking into gear. I mean, the Sheffield United side are one of the worst we've ever seen in the league. It is embarrassing, to be honest. I think they should have their licence revoked for 2 years to be in the Premier League. It is so poor. And some of the defending today was absolutely shocking. But you take that context away, and this Arsenal side are ticking into gear. How many 6s and 5s and 4s in the last few weeks? Absolutely incredible. They are scoring so many goals. Make sure you watch my previous video. I'm going to put it here somewhere. There. Talking about the title race between Man City and Liverpool, who are currently above Arsenal in the Premier League table. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you very, very soon.